Hi everyone, my name is Sebastian. I'm a compulsive eater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the grey sheet. I write those meals down. I commit them to my sponsor. I don't eat anything in between, no matter what, and abstinence is the most important thing in my life. Thank God. And thank you. Welcome, Colleen. It's a privilege to be at your first meeting, or that you're new. And yeah, thank you, Sheila, for asking me to speak. Um, yeah, I really do appreciate you. And, appreciating is an action. So, I can't say that and then say no to you asking me to speak. That wouldn't really work. And yeah, I also want to thank you for all the help with the service. Like I've been the reporting treasurer for the phone bridge intergroup, and without Sheila, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I just want to thank you for that as well. Um, I'm in my second year of service and on the phone bridge intergroup, and yeah, it's really been a journey. But yeah, I know a couple of you have heard my story before, so sorry, it's going to be the same story, but hopefully it will be a bit different. Um, so I always start with like my first ever memory of food was, well, my first ever memory, like period, was with my mum when I was like a baby in a high chair, and my mum and dad were like divorced from a very young age, and my mum was like force feeding me um like an abstinent food. I can't mention what kind of food it was because we don't talk about food generally in our meetings, but she was force feeding like abstinent food um like down into my mouth, and I didn't want this food. I didn't want it, and my auntie was there, and I didn't feel safe. I was crying. I wasn't happy, and I definitely didn't want to eat that particular food. And so that's my first ever memory. My second ever memory is I was with my father and his partner at the time, and we were in like a rental van, and um, I was sitting on his partner's lap, and I just got like a non-abstinent drink from a fast food restaurant, and like I dropped it um, in the van, and it like spilled everywhere, and my dad was like shouting at me, and I felt, again, like a lot of shame. That I think that was even worse than the first memory, to be honest. But the reason why I think this is significant is because whenever we have a 12-step program in GreySheeters Anonymous, and whenever I do like a fourth or fifth step, it's like generally what we do is like we write down like first, I was sort of suggested to write down like my first memories, and they're my first memories. And um, this is a program for like food addiction. So, it makes me think like it shows me I'm trying to get out of the way of myself, right? I get nervous, so I'm sorry, and I haven't been feeling well, so but like I get it just shows me like from a young age I didn't feel safe with my parents and I didn't feel safe with food. So like I think like straight away it was like, there was a problem. Growing up, I didn't really know how to communicate. I didn't really know how to express myself. I didn't know to what extent addiction was in my family. I didn't know to what extent that I was an addict. And um, I had no idea that I was a compulsive eater and that I had an allergy to, carbohydrates and sugary food. I had no idea. But it's like, I always wish I had more time when I speak. Like, I always wish I had like 40 minutes because the story's so long, but I'm doing my best here. Um, I got into addiction young. So I started lying to my mum. I started like the behavioral addiction started, young. Like, growing up, I started like sort of maybe like getting in the wrong crowd, stealing, um, didn't get on with my mum very well. and then it wasn't long before, I had like substance addiction, like alcohol, drugs, and then um, basically I got into a really sort of bad place with alcohol and drugs where I was sort of hearing voices, and my mum was basically drinking herself to death. And I would come home and she'd be like on the floor in her own excrement, and we tried to get a section, we tried everything. Like, it was horrific. Like, it literally tore my heart out of my soul. Like it was horrendous watching my mum like drinking herself to death and not being able to do anything about it. And then, but I didn't even realize like I was an addict, even though I was using like every day. And then my neighbors were like a tennis coach and a professional singer. And like throughout my life, I played tennis and I was interested in music. And so it was kind of like higher power interesting that my neighbors were like tennis coach and a professional singer like that. Like to me, there must be like some sort of higher power situation in that. And basically, they met in treatment and they had been to Alcoholics Anonymous and they got sober through Alcoholics Anonymous. And they said, "We know what's happening with your mum, and we're willing to help you." And I went to an Al-Anon meeting. I didn't really get it. Anyway, this guy was helping me with like my college project. I was studying music and performance at the time, and he we wrote a song about my mum, and then I had to perform this song live, and I knew if I wasn't clean, I wasn't gonna be able to perform the song. Like I just knew. So I said like I need help, and he said go to Narcotics Anonymous. So I went to Narcotics Anonymous. I got clean. That was the 12th of May 2013. I haven't used any alcohol drugs since then, thank God. And then I've been on a journey through all these other 12-step programs until COVID happened, and that's when my food addiction really started because it was like I was living in a hostel. A lot of the like food, like I didn't really have much money. A lot of the food banks and hostels and stuff, they give like carbohydrates and sugary food. Like that's what they give people. So I was like eating that. And then when COVID happened, I was getting more money and I had less outgoing. So I didn't have any sort of like restraints. Like I didn't have my mum telling me, oh, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. I didn't have like, there was nothing stopping me during COVID. And it was like my inner child just ran wild. He was like, I want that, like, breakfast item. I want that. Like he just had everything he wanted to have. He had it and no one was going to stop him. And then all the fast food, takeaways, late night, and I mean, I struggled during COVID, and this went on for a couple of years, and it got to the point where, and I was going through the trauma as well, and all my other behavioral addictions, and then my mum died, and then, like, I tried OA, but that it didn't work because it was like 3 meals a day and 3 snacks a day. Well, I was still eating the things that I knew were not working for me, so that wasn't working for me. And it got to the point where I couldn't go to the toilet for 4 days. I was completely blocked. Yeah. And I was going to the hospital and they weren't taking me seriously. Like nothing and no one was taking me seriously. They were giving me laxatives. Laxatives weren't working. And I genuinely thought I was going to die. Like I was sure I was dead. And it was a matter of time because I couldn't go to the toilet. So what was going to happen? And no one was going to help me. And um, basically, I met some people through another fellowship on Zoom who were in GreySheet, and I'd had a spiritual awakening. So I had some sort of like internal feeling in my heart and my spirit, which I felt like was guiding me. And I met these guys in GreySheet and I thought, well, I'm going to die anyway, so I may as well try Grey Sheet because I'm going to die anyway. So um, I sort of begged this guy to help me just get through one day of abstinence on the Grey Sheet because I was like I was scared of the food plan. when I looked at it, it looked overwhelming to me. I didn't understand it, even though it is really quite simple. It's not really the point. The point is, thank you. The point is that I can't do the grey sheet on my own. I need a sponsor. That's the point. Like even if I had the grey sheet on my own, it wouldn't work because like I don't think I could possibly ever know everything about grey sheet anyway. So like I'm always gonna have to need to ask someone like what I don't know. And um so anyway, he helped me and I got abstinent. And my like I had some money from the inheritance, and it was that year that all these GreySheeters Anonymous retreats started opening. Like the first one in Mexico, the first one in Spain, the first ever men's retreat. And I just gave my life to this program, like literally gave my life to this program. Like this program was the most important thing in my life and my abstinence. And I traveled around the world, and I got abstinent and I stayed abstinent, and I had like my life has been incredible. Like, I went to like Universal Studio. I met my sponsor now at the men's Grey Sheets Anonymous first retreat, and I didn't know that he was one of the founders of Grey Sheet. Like literally someone paid for my flight to go there. Someone I didn't even really know. Like it was all like part of God's plan, like it was meant to be. And I've been to the like men's retreats every year. I'm going to go this year to the fifth one. And I've had a lot of healing through this fellowship, like my inner child. Like I went to Universal Studios with my sponsor. Like I went to like the Disneyland theme park. I um and if anyone like if you know who my sponsor is, if you know what I'm talking about, like that is quite funny as well if you think about like going with him. But like kind of like being on like a big like merry-go-round like wheel like like a big wheel with like quite a like I don't know like a big guy like being scared like a child. I don't know it is kind of funny. But like I know it's very healing and um yeah, just go being able to go out for a meal with him, like, and I don't know, just there's just so many things. Like, what I've got like 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Like, how am I going to even tell you? Um, but it's like abstinence just gets better and better. Like, yeah, I mean, I still have defects of character. I've still made so many mistakes. Like we have we have the food which fixes the problem with the food, but then we have the steps, and the steps are working on my spirit, and I get to do service, and it's just like literally raising me from the dead. It's like taking my like scrap heap of a life and giving me like a life to my wildest dreams. Like I have energy. Like today I walked 9 miles. Do you know what I mean? I have like amazing food in my fridge. I've got another meal coming. I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna eat. I don't have to feel bad for what I'm eating. I'm not harming myself with food anymore. Um, I don't need to worry about my weight. Like literally, I turn my food over to my sponsor and I don't have to think about it anymore. As long as I'm sticking, to the confines of the Grey Sheet food plan, you know, then I'm all right. And everything else literally does seem to work out. And I've done like a few AWOLs. I'm working the steps with my sponsor. I do service. And I attend as many meetings as I can. I go to other fellowships as well, because for me that's been important to like maintain my recovery. And yeah, just like so many things have happened.
Amen.
And thank you. I feel hopeful and excited about my future, I feel like there's a solution. I feel like there's hope for me. Um, and like some of the best people I've ever met in the world are in Grey Sheets Anonymous. I mean, seriously, um, and I really think this program, there's something about this program, like something like so spiritual. I don't even know how to describe it. Um, but I'm just glad that, for whatever reason, I've been chosen to do this. I want to do this till the day that I die. And yeah, I'm so grateful to this fellowship, and to everyone in this fellowship that I get to be a part of it. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to the men's retreat this year. Looking forward to seeing the guys. I love seeing them. I always find it so healing.
Mm.
And thank you for letting me share.